So I figured I'd walk through my design process to show how I kind of prototype things out. And for this project, I want to mount a light on the top of my monitor to illuminate my face during video calls. So I have the light, and it has a typical kind of 1/4-20 bolt socket on the bottom. So it would fit a normal tripod, for example. That's a very standard size. So I found this bolt, and I obtained a couple of them. It's about the size. I don't know exactly if I'm going to use this length or not. It depends on the prototype. But it's a 1/4-20 bolt, and this head is going to allow me to fit it into a 3D print, which then will fit on top of my monitor, and then I can attach light to it securely, so I don't have to worry about the light falling off. So the way I typically go is I would find what I want to work with, in this case this bolt, and I'm going to embed it inside. So on here I need 3 different variables in order to prototype out what I need. I'm going to need this head height to know how deep I need to embed it. I need this diameter to know how big the hole is that the thread's going to fit through, the bolt's going to fit through. And then this width across the flats is going to give me the size of the head that will also be embedded. So I'll scroll down here, and I'm just going to jot these down real quick. So the across the flats is 7/16 of an inch. The head height max and min, I'm going to use the max. I'd rather it have extra space, 0.163. And the diameter we know is 1/4 inch because it's 1/4-20 inch bolt. So I'm going to take those measurements over to Fusion 360. I'm going to start a new sketch, and I'm going to pretend for now, since I don't know exactly when I'm going to put this on, I'm just going to make a box. I'm going to change this to inches because we're working in inches, and I'm just going to throw up some basic measurements. We'll do this, 3. That would probably fit fine if I were going to actually make that on top of the monitor. Doesn't really matter for now. And let's extrude it out. Again, it doesn't really matter at this point because we can come back and change all these values. So I have this thing. You can picture this kind of sitting on top of my monitor. How it sits there, it's probably going to have a groove cut in the bottom, and it'll just sit up on top. That's not what we're after right now, though. We're after putting the bolt in so I can start printing some to see what fits best. So I'm going to throw a sketch on top, and we're going to have to put this bolt on the top of it. So I'm going to do a polygon. We want to use this one because we have the measurements from the flats, not from the points. And let's just drop one of these down and put it there. Let's get the measurement down. It was 7/16 of flat to flat. So if we do this, and we do 7/16 of an inch, that is our bolt size. You notice it did the math for us, which is very convenient. I also want this to be fully dimensioned. Right now you can move it around and it's kind of wonky, so that if we change the size of this outside part of it, that everything will go with it. So I'm going to create a couple lines here just to throw this thing in the center. So those dotted lines are construction lines, and now that's locked into the center. And I'm also going to make this top edge here parallel with the top edge there. So now the thing is locked in on the size. It looks good. Next part we want to do is we want to close this out. We want to go down inside here. So we're going to extrude down, and the max was 0.163. We want to go down, and we want to cut into it. So there is the bolt head sitting inside of the 3D print. We also, for the bolt to fit in there, we need it to have a place for the actual threaded part to go through. So let's go back and edit the sketch again, and we're going to put a circle in the center here. The circle is 1/4. Right? It's a 1/4 inch bolt. So we put a circle that's 1/4 inch. We're already on the center point, which is locked in. Finish that, and we can extrude again. The sketch is hidden, but we can just go like this and drag it down. You could be a little more pragmatic and lock it to a certain distance, but I just shove it through because there's nothing else going to be on the side right now. And there we have our first spot. So if I were to print this like this would print fine. There's no overhangs, there's no issues. And I would see if the bolt fits in. I would see how, I probably want to make it this thick because that's an excessive amount of material. And let's go ahead and change that up. So we don't need it. What's 0.20? That gets us a little tiny sliver on the bottom just to see if it fits and how much it protrudes. And the section analysis, if we throw it over here, we can actually drag this down here and see how much of it is. It's a little sliver. I think this is good. This will tell us if this is a good head fits in here or not. And the thickness of this won't matter as much. So that's good. We'll print that. This excess stuff isn't on the sides, isn't needed either, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to edit this sketch. And I'm going to select everything here. And I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. I think. There we go. And I'm going to drag one out here, hit enter, paste another one, drag one out here, and hit enter. These aren't locked to anything, so again we can snap that to this, snap that to that. We can make this parallel to here, make this parallel to here, and we're going to make this space from here to here half inch. Oh, half inch is not enough. And 0.6. Now why this is what's not dimensioned here, I'm not really sure. It's not super important. But what I want to do is I want to cushion these a little bit. These dimensions I don't care about. You can see this copied out from here, the flats of flats. Bring this one over here, this one over here, and this one over here. So the inside diameter is 1/4 inch, right? That might not be great. So I'm going to give it a little extra room on this one. And I'm going to give it, actually let's go 0.26 so it's easier to track in the middle, and 0.27 on this edge. So that makes that center a little bigger. 3D printing is not very accurate. So that's a good idea to do. This edge to edge, again, we'll leave that one. This is the stock dimensions. This one in the center, we will 0.438 is the normal one, and we can just add, let's add a point. I don't know how much space we need. Let's just make this 0.45, and we'll go ahead and change this one to 0.46. And that's spaced everything else. So they're growing in size as they progress down this. We'll do this. We're going to turn the sketch back on, and we're going to re-extrude to edit this feature. Extrude this and this. And then we're going to edit this feature and extrude this and extrude this. And now we have 3 different size holes that we can print out and test. One last thing kind of to do is I don't need this big. Does 2 inches get me in the realm? Yep, 2 inches is good. I could clean this up a little bit more. Right, it's clear I don't need that to be as wide either. 0.7 might be, so just to save time on printing. You can also come in here, and if you wanted to, you could just take this and extrude that over a little bit. Again, these are just prototypes, so it doesn't really matter. We're looking for those dimensions, that's what we're looking for. So, this is kind of what I do. And now, I will have this part. I'm going to print it on my printer. Probably take 40 minutes, it's pretty thick. I will test fit the bolt, and within an hour I'll know exact dimensions which fit the. Took about 20 minutes to print. I have a bigger nozzle on there right now, which helps these prototypes print quicker, but not as accurate. You can see it's a little sloppy. Our 3 holes here. So here's the nut. There's the biggest hole that we made. See it slides in and out pretty easily. That would work. A little bit of CA glue in there, and it would hold it in there. Same with this one, a little slop in there. But the original dimensions, at first it feels like it's not going to fit, but a little bit of pressure, it slides right in there perfectly, and it doesn't come out. So I think those are the dimensions. You can see what's sticking out of the head there. So I'm going to inset it a little bit more. But besides that, I'm just going to go with the original dimensions. And here's the light. So it just kind of spins on there like we'd expect. And then I can just build this into some other bracket. Anything, really. Ideally, it just fits right on top of my monitor, and then this will sit up top and can swivel as usual. If I wanted to, too, this thing comes off. So I could attach this directly if I didn't want that ball. But the ball's nice because you can point it. So anyways, that worked great. I'm going to use the original dimensions and now build out my prototype for the part that sits on the monitor. And this part is just going to attach to that, and we'll be good to go. Quick follow-up of the final design. You can see that the light is sitting up on top of the monitor. In this little case, we can move it around closer to the light, the camera, if we want to. And the controller's right down here, and you can shut it off. But basically, what I did is I took that original nut design, which you can see there. I prototyped a few of the various pieces that fit on this monitor. First ones were a little too big, so it wobbled. And then I figured out this setup right here is good enough. It's not that heavy. So, and it fits right on there. Doesn't touch any of the LCD. And it keeps it wherever I want it. So I can move it over there and stick it on the back. I can unscrew it if I need to. And that's the final design. So all in all, it took me, I'd say 2 hours from start to finish. And it's a very practical design. And this is the beauty of 3D printing. Before, I would have taped that up there and have to find some kind of solution online. Probably cost me 15-20 bucks and days of time for shipping. But with a little bit of CAD skills and a 3D printer, you can create your own thing. So what I'll probably end up doing is printing this in black and blend it a little better. Maybe making it bigger and adding another screw for this camera, because this camera also has the same kind of connection at the bottom. So I can have them both connected on that. And maybe I'll leave a third open for accessory down the line later on. So there's my project.